hope everyone is doing fine for the retreat the past few days. Okay, any issues so far in the meditation? Anyone got any problem? All okay, smooth sailing? Yeah?
Question. Doing this Vipassana permanent. I was taking one of the 5
aggregates.
Yeah, aggregates. So I was leaning towards the 6 senses.
Okay.
So during the experience, you switch quite fast because of the different senses that you interact with.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like your mind doesn't really stop.
Yeah.
By here and there.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Do you feel agitated due to that?
Agitated means there's still desire, wanting to push. So if you want to talk about there's open awareness kind of vipassana, that means observing the 6 senses. So we are supposed to not interfere. That means don't be a control freak. The reason why we get agitated because we have expectation. Yeah. So if we don't have expectation, we just see things as they are. Then the more we detach, the more relaxed we are actually.
But the senses came here and there pretty fast.
Yeah. It's meant to be like that. You're just aware of it, Yeah. Yeah. All the while we have the senses working. Like I gave one example. Right now, when I mentioned your heart is beating, then you know that your heart is beating, right? But before that, you are not aware of the heart beating, but that doesn't mean the heart is not beating. Yeah, the heart is always beating, right? So there's 1,001 things going on, but the mind can only pay attention to one thing at one time. Yeah, sort of at least one thing at one time. So this attention or this awareness, when it sort of move around, sometimes can be small areas, sometimes can be large area. We just observe how these 6 senses, these 5 aggregates, how it pass away, arise and pass away.
Would it be very unrest?
Okay, if the mind is very unrest, then you should switch to samatha. If let's say you cannot cope, then you switch to samatha. You need to charge the battery of the mind.
All beings.
Yeah, that's one meditation subject. Yeah, there are many meditation subjects, and most of them have a samatha aspect and the vipassana aspect. Samatha means 定。我们修定跟修观so samatha is 定concentration.
Yeah. But you still use the samatha whenever there's an interval. You still need to sense the interval, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So isn't it still the same?
No. The samatha is you have ideal, like you wish all beings were happy. It's ideal. It may not be reality, but you wish all beings were happy, right? So that's ideal. Vipassana is based on reality. You observe things. So when things move around, it's reality. Yeah. So you observe the reality, impermanence.
But when you samatha, you chant that all beings are happy.
Yeah, correct.
It's also because of the senses elements that interchange.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Indirectly, we're still aware of that.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Which still cause the unrest.
Not say unrest. The idea is to keep on repeating so that the mind can sort of calm down. And that sort of thing arising, and you wish you were happy, is to make peace with all these senses. Okay, all right. At the back.
班弟，有时你在讲的时候我在打坐， 我听到你在讲，听到我睡着去哎，然后我跟自己讲，我也睡着啊，但我就不妥，我不要去听那个什么，刚才你一直在讲哦，我没有去听中去听哎，因为我每次听到一半我就会睡着。
是语言关系嘛，有些字听不懂对吗？
对。
OK 啊，所以没办法咯。OK。
然后我就讲不妥，然后我眼睛要睡着，我就开一个眼睛。但现在我跟自己讲，我讲头发，跟自己讲，我讲华语啊，头发眼睛自己讲给自己听。
OK。
可以吗？这样？
如果你关这个头发啦，关这些，我们说这个不经关啦，等一下我会讲解一些了
OK。
所以在泰国这个森林派，通常这个仏陀是修这个定哦，但他们修观的方式就是观这个身体咯泰国森林派的方式通常是这样的。
我开眼睛开一点点也是可以吗？
可以。
还是眼睛要关掉？因为关掉就像睡着了。
可以了，可以啊。
OK。可以，谢谢。
好。Any other? Yes.
Okay, to my is it correct? Say for example, when first sit down and not so mindful. So is it okay that first we observe the rising, falling of the abdomen, then when steady down in, then we breathe in, notice not the breathing breathe out.
Oh yeah, I haven't taught the breathing meditation yet, so maybe later part. Yeah.
Okay, but previous I have access to this. So, is it okay? Because I noticed by this way, and then I can let me be more alert like that.
Okay. Yeah, so for breath meditation, maybe I'll cover. I think today I can cover. Yeah. So maybe I'll share later. Yeah.
Like for example, when first sit down, the mind just like monkey like that. Then initially maybe I observe heart,
Okay.
Here,
Yeah.
hot. Then when they settle down already, then it can be more alert than.
Okay. Yeah, if you're on your own, yeah, you can use variety of techniques, no problem. Yeah. Whatever works. Okay. Anyone else? Any questions? Okay, so actually there are two kind of queries here. One is the breath, and one is on the impurities of the body meditation. So I think I'll do breath because impurities I covered a bit previously. 现在是教这个呼吸观这个触呼吸Okay. Who haven't learned breath meditation before? Only one person. Okay, all learned before. Okay, who learned from me before? Only one person. Okay, so everybody basically is different style. So basically, just to introduce a bit the sort of the pattern which I'm using, or the style which I'm using, because this Anapanasati Sutta, or this breath meditation has 16 steps. Yeah, 16 steps, 16. So it's actually very complicated. Very complicated. So we can simplify it by dividing to 4. Yeah, so we have 4 foundation of mindfulness. Mindfulness of the body, 4 steps. Mindfulness of feeling, 4 steps. Mindfulness of the mind, 4 steps. And mindfulness of the Dhamma, 4 steps. So total 16 steps. So the breath meditation is actually about this 4 foundation of mindfulness. So to make things easy, the first 4 steps talk about watching your in and out breath. In and out breath. So when you watch the in and out breathing, it doesn't matter fast or slow, long or short. The whole idea is you know. Yeah, that's the idea. When you know, is it in breath long, out breath long, or in short, out short, that kind of thing. So you know, and you need to calm down the body. So that's the first 4 steps. And you breathe in, breathe out, you must calm down the body. So that's the mindfulness of the body part. So there are many different schools, many interpretation on this breathing. So there's, like for example, there's maybe one particular school that says you must control your breathing. When you breathe in, breathe out, must make noise. Must make noise. If you don't make noise, means they assume you are sleeping. So everybody is making noise when they're breathing. So that's for their school. So for my routine, we let the in and out breath be your natural reflex action. That means no controlling. Do not control. Let the in and out breathing be natural. Be natural. The only thing is your attention is there. That's all. So that's the in and out breathing. And to calm down the body, to calm down the body and calm down feelings. So the next 4 steps we have mindfulness of feelings. So in the sutta, you have to be mindful of the pleasure of the breath. The pleasure of the breath. So if you want to talk about real mindfulness of feelings, as in true mindfulness, you need to be mindful of pleasant, unpleasant, neutral feelings. So that is the more vipassana angle. So at this point of time, this particular instruction is more geared towards samatha first. That means you need to breathe in, breathe out, make the breath happy, comfortable, so that your mind have the incentive to gather. If not, other stray thoughts, other distractions are more interesting. So you need to make the breath more interesting, basically. So my routine will be using same thing, loving kindness. Inhale, wish it well. Exhale, wish it happy. So this is an incentive to make the breath pleasant. So at the meantime, while doing this, you also try to calm down the body. When the body relax, happy, the breath happy, then you can calm down the body. Okay, so where to place your attention for the breathing? Where to place your attention? So somebody was, Tan was suggesting, can be here. Where else you suggest? You feel the abdomen?
Let's say for example, when just start to sit down,
okay.
Like monkey,
okay.
So something cross first.
Hard.
And when this one.
So you're doing the correct step, mindfulness of the body. Feel the body, then afterwards, then Okay. Then later on, start to feel the breathing. Okay. Then once you calm down the body, then you find, we said, the breath body. That means the area of attention where you want to feel your breathing. So again, got many schools, got many different methods. Some say must feel here. Some say must feel here. Some say must feel feel the whole body. So my opinion is, you can feel anywhere, doesn't matter. Because we are not training the breath. We are not training the breath. We are making use of the breath to actually train the mind. The breath is just a tool only to train the mind, the skillfulness of the mind, not to train the skillfulness of the breathing. So that's the idea. Like for example, when we do impurities of the body meditation, we think of the teeth. That doesn't make our teeth cleaner, It doesn't train our teeth. It doesn't. When you think of skin, it doesn't make our skin healthier. No, we are not training the parts of the body. So same thing, when we are breathing, we are not training the breath. We are not training the breath. Maybe some other meditation, they control the breath. Maybe like Qigong or whatever. They want to control the breath and whatever reason. But for this particular set, especially in Theravada meditation, not so much in controlling the breath. There's no training of the breath. It's more of making use of the breath as just a tool, and then we are training the mind actually. So the first, for example, when I first learned, I was instructed to feel here. Feel here. So that one is okay. So I can follow the instruction. Then later, some thoughts come to my mind. Let's say medical scenario. Let's say if a person, I encountered a meditator, a monk, who got this last stage of pancreatic cancer. So he's on all these medical devices, you have all these oxygen masks, sometimes you put the tube and whatever on. Then cannot wash here already. Got so many things blocking, so many tube, all the air sucking here, whatever. Cannot wash the breath here anymore. Right? So we cannot just rely on here only. So later on, the breath meditation instruction will talk about one-pointedness of the mind. So I will later explain one-pointedness of the mind is not your area of attention. It's not one small area. That is not one-pointedness of the mind. One-pointedness of the mind is something else. So the area of attention doesn't matter. It can be here, can be here, can be whole body, doesn't matter. right? So let's say the COVID happened, everyone wear mask. And how to wash? How to wash the breath, right? So it doesn't have to be here only. So if let's say you already practice breath meditation and you only stick to one point, you can experiment other places and you see whether you have the same result. Yeah. Okay. So I will talk about this one pointedness later. Okay. So once we talk about this, the pleasure of the breath, which is the next 4 steps. So we talk about the first 2 foundation of mindfulness already. Yeah. Then the mind will sort of easily calm down. So that's the next 4 steps. Mindfulness of mind states. And the third quarter, mindfulness of mind states. So we can be more sensitive of the mind, whether the mind is agitated or more calm. Agitated or more calm. So for example, the pond, imagine it's a muddy solution. It's a muddy solution. Let's say there's rain, there's a lot of mud and whatever not. So if you want to get clear water, you need to just don't do anything, don't shake, don't stir, and then the mud will sort of sink, right? Then you get clear water, something like that. So you want to have a clear mind, you need this mud to settle down. So this settling down the mind will settle to a point where it doesn't settle any further. So I call this quite close to one-pointedness of the mind. When the desire, when the craving is settled down. Yeah, so that is the real one-pointedness. So the area of attention can be anywhere, but the settle of the mind is a different kind of mind from your attention, from where you place your attention. So this settling of the mind will settle to another spot. And that spot is called the one-pointedness of the mind. So basically there are different layers or different spectrum of the mind, just like onion skin, got many layers of skin. So mind got many layers also. So the area of attention, the mind that's running around, that is one kind of mind, your sixth sense door kind of mind. Then there's another mind that has got to do with restless mind, a greedy mind, or the settled mind and so on. Yeah? So we are talking about the settling of the mind, and once the mind is settled, then that is the real one-pointedness of the mind. So we, once you have that, based on the sutta instruction, you can actually release release the mind. So not many people talk about releasing the mind. So actually the releasing of the mind is to enter the different levels of, we call it jhana, so different levels of concentration. Yeah, so the mind is a bit like a spring. Once you have enough potential energy, when settled down, you let it go, it will evolve, transform to a different level. So this is called releasing the mind. So that's for the jhanas part. Yeah? Okay, then eventually the last 4 steps is about wisdom, the Dhammanusati. So that is more on the vipassana. So that is to reflect on impermanence. Yeah, every in and out breath, arising and passing, or impermanence, change, whatever label you want to use. So you can create detachment, dispassion, and relinquishment, all those. Yeah. So all these are the 16 steps of the breath meditation. So for my routine, I'll bring the vipassana element forward actually. So you once a person calm down the mind, you can actually use vipassana to calm the mind further. The mind actually settle down further to a certain resting spot. Then from there, a person can release the mind. Yeah. Okay, so this is just a theory, the brief. Who is like lost? Vipassana 就是观啦，定跟观。So vipassana is used for wisdom lah. Yeah. So anytime we think of impermanence, that is vipassana already. Okay. Any question? Okay. If there's no issues, then we try the practical guided session. Practical guided session, and see how much you can follow. Okay, so you find the comfortable sitting position. Make sure your back is upright. And the rest of your body relaxed. Okay, so while relaxing the body, we can, at the meantime, use the 4 element sensation. Make peace with the body first. Whatever tension, hardness, whatever part of the body not comfortable, I wish you well and happy, wish you well and happy. So there's a bodily relaxation and also mental relaxation. The idea is that we do not want too much bodily distraction. We'll see halfway, you want to focus, then suddenly here pain, then aching, then here distraction, there distraction, bodily lot of problem. So first, tune the body well, relax, wish you well and happy, make peace with the body, every sensation, every feeling, wish it well and happy. So that indirectly is doing a lot of the breath meditation steps, but this is just the short version. So the whole idea now is to start off with the habit of repetition, right effort. Keep on repeating. Wish all sensations well and happy. So any nice sensation or peaceful sensation, all these we treat as byproduct, passing scenery. We just emphasize on rowing the boat, keep on wishing all sensations well and happy. Okay, if your mind, you find it relatively calm, or your body relatively calm, then we are going to choose the area of attention where you want to feel your breathing, your in and out breathing. It can be below the nostril or at the diaphragm, one small area, or it can be a larger area like the whole body, or you can, if you're more skillful, open awareness. Doesn't matter. So you just choose one. The whole idea is stick to one first, and you just stay with one. Don't halfway jump here, jump there. You just stick to one first. Okay, once you found that breath body, we are going to let your breath breathe in and out naturally. Every inhalation, wish it well. Exhalation, wish it happy. So that is the minimal rate. Anything slower than this wish is basically a high chance of daydreaming. But if let's say your mind is more sensitive, one inhalation can feel multiple changes in the element, and then you go for the higher count. You wish more things well and happy. But very minimal, bare minimal rate is one inhalation well, one exhalation happy. So these mental fermentations or these craving kind of formations manifest in a form of tension, mental tension. So if let's say the more you reduce craving, this sort of tension will settle down somewhere. So we are not pushing or controlling. Emphasis is on wishing the in and out breath well and happy. So we call this mindfulness of the breathing. Okay, if any point of time your physical breath start to disappear or you cannot feel the breathing, do not be alarmed. Just continue to observe any subtle movements or your attention towards that breath. Any kind of movement at all, we call it breathing also, even at the mental energy level. So it doesn't have to be physical breath. So the whole idea is keep repeating the wish. Wish the breath well and happy. Inhale well, exhale happy. If you find your mind quite calmed down, quite settled down a bit, then you can further calm down the mind with impermanence. Use impermanence. So the same thing, whatever we observe, one inhalation rising, one exhalation falling. That's one way. Or one inhalation, you say change, exhalation change. Or you can feel multiple changes in one inhalation, exhalation, then you can do that also. So everything has to be observable. Do not create anything. So the more we reflect on impermanence of the breathing, then we observe how far can the mind settle down. And if let's say your mind is quite settled down already, then we familiarize ourselves with this stability point, and the rate of settling is like negligible, and we can quite consider it as a stability point. So we emphasize on the impermanence of the breathing, and at the sidelines we observe what's the emotion and the state of mind. What's the emotion? Emphasize on rowing the boat, impermanence of the breathing, everything else is byproduct. Okay, then we make sure we fulfill two criteria, fulfill two things. First one is the mind is calmed down due to impermanence and detachment. So that's the first criteria. Second criteria is that you take a note of the state of mind. That means you remember this emotion. Important, because this is an emotional journey. With different states of mind, different level, we have different factors or different emotions. So it's more like recognizing the different parts of the journey. Okay, once you have these two criteria, whenever you are ready, then you can let go of the mind. Just like letting go of a balloon. And if once you release the mind, do not interfere, you just observe any change in the emotion. Okay, so for those who, let's say, experience any change, like from a bland emotion to something more pleasant or more joyful, then that will indicate the transform from like a worldly mind to this first level of concentration, from the sensual sphere to the first level of concentration. So you take note of this emotion, we multitask, take note of this emotion and the impermanence of the breathing. Two things for the mind to settle down. So the process is a bit like changing gear when driving. So your boat will sort of have a different speed, and once it reaches a certain constant acceleration, or once it reaches a certain calmness, then you take note of that state of mind, or you familiarize yourself with the first level of concentration. So to familiarize, the emphasis is the same thing, impermanence of the breathing. And at the side note, you take note of the emotion, the state of mind. What's the emotion of that first level of concentration? So the concentrative practice require one to be quite withdrawn from the senses. That means try not to get distracted by other senses. Let's continue the impermanence of the breathing. Okay, so make sure we fulfill the two criteria again. First criteria is the mind is quite settled down due to impermanence and detachment. Second criteria is that we take a note of the state of mind. What's the emotion? So in theory, the first level will have 4 factors. That is initial thinking, sustained thinking, joy and happiness. 4 things. So if you cannot differentiate all 4 at once, doesn't matter. You just take note of this emotion as a package. So once you remember this emotion and your mind is calm, then you can change gear. Then you can release the mind, let go of the first level, just like letting go of a balloon. And once you release the mind, you observe any change in emotion. No need to push, don't need to interfere, don't have to do anything. Just observe any change in emotion. And if you experience the emotion like become more joyful, the joy or happiness become more distinct or stronger, then that will indicate the second level of concentration due to the disappearance of some cluttering thought process, this initial and sustained thinking. So we are going to just multitask again, observe this emotion and the impermanence of the breathing for the mind to settle down. Okay, if your mind is quite settled down, then we familiarize ourselves with the second level of concentration. Emphasis is on the impermanence of the breathing, and at the meantime we observe at the sidelines we observe the state of mind, what is the emotion. So basically what we're doing is practicing detachment at every level. At the sensual level, can practice impermanence detachment. Even in states of concentration, also practice detachment. Okay, and make sure we fulfill the two criteria. First criteria is the mind is calm and settled down due to impermanence and detachment. Second criteria is that we've taken note of the state of mind of this second level of concentration. So in theory, the second level of concentration will have two factors or two kinds of emotions. Joy and happiness, these two things. So at this point of time, if you still cannot differentiate between joy and happiness, never mind, you just take it as a package. Just remember this emotion. And once you have fulfilled the two criteria, whenever you are ready, you can release the mind. Just like letting go of a balloon. So once you have let go of the mind, you just observe any change in emotion. And if you experience a different pleasant emotion, we call this happiness. So there's no more joy. So it's just happiness only. So we take note of this happiness and the impermanence of the breathing for the mind to settle down. Okay, and if your mind is quite settled down, then we familiarize with the third level of concentration. Same thing, emphasis is on the impermanence of the breathing. And at the sidelines, we observe the emotion, the state of mind of this third level. Okay, make sure we fulfill 2 criteria. First criteria is the mind is settled down due to impermanence and detachment. Second criteria is that we've taken note of the state of mind for the 3rd level. So in theory, the 3rd level will have 2 factors: happiness and this equanimity. So the most obvious emotion will be happiness. So you take note or remember this emotion. And once you have these 2 criteria, whenever you're ready, then you can release the mind, just like letting go of a balloon. And once you let go of this mind, you let it evolve naturally by itself, and you observe any change in emotion. Okay, let's say the happiness is gone and you get neutral but alert or refreshing kind of experience. Then we call this the equanimity. So we take note of this equanimity and the impermanence of the breathing for the mind to settle down. Emphasis is on impermanence of the breathing. Everything else is just passing sceneries. And if your mind is quite settled down, then we Get to familiarize with the fourth level of concentration. Emphasis is on the impermanence of the breathing. And at the sidelines, we take note of this equanimity. Okay, so these four levels of concentration, or the four jhanas, are part of this right concentration in the Noble Eightfold Path. Being that the equanimity used to strengthen this mindfulness, so that we can observe impermanence without being agitated. We have this neutral or balanced mind. So we make sure we fulfill two criteria. First criteria is that the mind is calm due to impermanence and detachment. Second criteria is that we take a note of this state of mind. So in the fourth level of concentration, there is only one factor, which is called equanimity. So one kind of emotion. So there's no more joy or happiness. Okay, so this time round we are going to go stand. We're going to reverse. We're going to go back down to level 3. So we make a wish to go back down to level 3. And once you sort of make the determination or wish, you observe how this mind descend. See whether there's any change in emotion. Okay, let's say the emotion of happiness start to resurface again. So that's the indicator you are at the third level. So we do the same thing, take note of the emotion and the impermanence of the breathing for the mind to calm down. And if your mind is relatively calm and you've taken note of the emotion, then you can make a wish to go back down to level 2. So as the mind descends, we observe any change in emotion. And if you experience a different pleasant emotion, that's due to the introduction of joy. So now there's a mixture of both joy and happiness. And so you take note of this emotion as a package and the impermanence of the breathing for the mind to settle down. Okay, if your mind is relatively calm and settled down, then we can make a wish to go back down to the first level. So as the mind descends, we observe any change in emotion. So you start to feel more cluttering of the mind, or the emotion of joy and happiness start to reduce. That's due to the introduction of this initial and sustained thinking processes. So we take note of this emotion as a package and the impermanence of the breathing for the mind to settle down. Okay, if your mind is quite settled down, then we can make a wish to go back down to the stability point, ground zero. So as the mind descends, we observe any change in emotion. And if you are back to ground level, make sure there's no more special emotion. Everything is bland, neutral, and in the meantime, we take note of the impermanence of the breathing for the mind to settle down. So the settling of the mind is an indicator of this reduction of craving. Yeah, so this can happen in all states of mind. So when there is craving, then there's more, the mind becomes agitated and more tension. And if you are practicing detachment, right thought, then there will be detachment and ease. So every moment is for noble truth in action. Okay, once your mind is calmed down, then you can start to feel the rest of your body, your fingers and toes, and maintain this detached manner, always mindful of impermanence, and you slowly extend your attention, your awareness everywhere, without increasing this clinging and stress. And once you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes, formally end the session. Informally still can generate right thought. Think of impermanence. Okay. Any problems or issues from anyone? Yeah. Pain, okay. Yeah, so those who have pain problem can sit chair, never mind. Got a lot of chair can bring over. If you find that a lot of excruciating pain, you use chair better, or use standing or sit chair, never mind. Don't. We are not here to torture you. I'm practicing compassion, not practicing cruelty. Okay, anyone else? No, nothing. Okay, so I leave your self-practice, then those who want to do whatever chores can go and do. So I see you at the lunchtime.
You expect to do that first?